Praise ye Yahweh, sing unto Yahweh. So praising Yahweh, singing to him, right? A new song. And his praise in the congregation of saints, the Israelite. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of the remembered ones, to Zion one, be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name, Yahweh, and the dance. Let them sing. See, praise and sings in the same sentence. Sing praises unto him with the timbrel and the harp. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people, the Israelites. He will beautify the meek, we the meek, with salvation. He's going to save us, the elect. Salvation means to be saved from impending danger, right? Delivered from impending danger. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing or praise. Let them sing aloud upon thy beds. We're going to be getting up in the morning.
Psalm 149. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. The Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of God be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written, this honor and all his saints. Praise ye the Lord.
The elect are coming. The gods of the earth are coming.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the whole elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. And going into this morning's, news and prophecy. All right, how it's all unraveling, at the seams. What we're seeing, everything is unraveling, it's going from bad to worse, and what this devil is doing, with this government shutdown. I don't see this man, letting up, as each day goes by, as constant, different reports are going out. Okay. This devil, has this thing unraveling, at the seam. Matter of fact, let's get that. All right. Because when you go into, all right, unraveling at the seams, and we got quite a few videos, man, people catching hell. All right. There's no good news for you people. You're suffering. And see, this all dates back to the Day of Atonement, and I know, all right, you brothers, all right, and even you few sisters, man, you was praying for judgment for this place, man. I know we was all praying for judgment for this place, man, and it's looking like these people are finna have a very unpleasant, okay, holiday season, Lord will. But there's nothing but bad news for you people. You trust in America, you love this place, and you ready to celebrate these holidays, be proud and talk shit and get drunk and hang out. See, it's getting bad, man. You see, it's unraveling, man. Okay, we're going into uncharted territories, man. The way that things are collapsing, man. All right, and as we constantly go over, it's all the controlled demolition. Now, when you go to it, it says to come apart at the seams. You know, we hear that saying often. All right, it says to be in a very bad condition, near to failure or collapse. Okay, and this is what we're seeing happening. Okay, with this society. All right, they're in a very bad condition. Okay, near. All right, failure or collapse, man. Okay, and the elites want the collapse and failure of the society because they're ready to roll in something new. Okay, so you people, all right, they're playing around with you people as if they're really trying to solve. Okay, what's going on? No, hey, they want the conditions to get bad. All right, and they want this place to be in failure and collapse. These things are being done intentional, man. So what we're seeing, all right, is the powers to be. They're taking this thing apart at the seams. Okay, they're pushing this government to failure, this society to failure and collapse. Okay, so let's get a few precepts. All right, then we'll go into the videos I got queued up. All right, and there's nothing but bad news, man. All right, from bad to worse. And it's gonna get from worse, right, to to more worse. You see, so you go into the book of Second Esdras. All right, chapter 16. It says, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack." Okay, so what we're seeing, all right, is the Lord, revving up. You see, the Lord got the spirit on Esau, all right, to be all gas, no brakes. Okay, and what we're going to see is things not slack. The famine not going to be slack. Okay, civil unrest not going to be slack. The pestilence that's going to be released. See, these things are not going to be slack. You know, because people, have been numb to the message of the prophets because, all right, they haven't had to deal with the effects of the prophecies. But now the effect of every vision, as it says in Ezekiel, is here. You see, now you people are being faced. Now you people are coming face to face with prophecy, man. Okay, so as the warning has been going out for decades, now they're right here. And things that you've been warned about for decades are here now. You're beginning to exist in these prophecies, man. Okay, and there's a time when prophecy goes from a prophecy to a reality. Okay, because when you're living in the prophecy, well, that's a reality now. It's not a prophecy anymore. Okay, you're here. Okay, it says as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, so with 2 or 3 hours of her birth pain, of her birth, great pains compares her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Okay, so what we're seeing is these things are intensifying and they're beginning to overwhelm people. Okay, because their great pains compares her womb, which means she beginning to be overwhelmed. Okay, so now we're seeing the society being overwhelmed by the affliction that the Lord is bringing, man. And it's going to constantly increase, okay, into the birth of all our chaos and civil unrest, man. You see, so the birth of chaos and civil unrest, tribulation, okay, which leads what to the birth of our kingdom. Okay, so reading on, it says, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Okay, everything is falling apart around these people, man. Everything that they believe in and hope in is falling apart around them. Okay, they're being worn down, because we're going to go into how this is an economic war of attrition. The Spirit been having me speak on war of attrition, but I looked it up in the chat, economic war of attrition, and this is what the elites are waging on the masses, man. This is an economic war of attrition, man, to wear you people down, okay, to grind you down to desperation, Okay, for what? This new world order. Those that survive. Okay. So going back, um, uh, let's get this, and then we're gonna start going to some of these videos. So let's go here. All right. This is the book of St. John, chapter 16, verse 20 said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. Okay. So there was a time, when these people, they was in their mirth. Okay. They had the, the job security, housing security, food security. They was in their joy. Okay. And they say, our hope is in this place falling. He say we're vexed. You see, we're vexed by a functioning America. You see, as we have an expectation of righteousness, man. Our hope is in the world to come. So this place, prosperity was our vexation. Okay, but this place, all right, adversity is our joy. You see, so our sorrow is being turned into joy, and their joy is being turned into sorrow, man. Okay, and then we're seeing that sorrow increasing, and our joy should be increasing, man. The Lord is doing it, man. We put these prayers up for the Lord to judge this place. He's doing it. Our power is doing this, man. He's putting the spirit on these elites, okay, to like say to tear this place apart at the seam, to push this place to failure and collapse, man. And you goddamn proud, okay, American assholes who finna suffer, man. The Lord is bringing the time of suffering, all right, to the American population, man, to the global population, but it's the emphasis on the American population. Okay, so let's go into these few videos. Let's start off here. Okay, you people that have security, and for Brother Could post it in Sirach 5 and 7 Bible Kashah. Your brother can post it. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, for the job market, and then look at the timing of it. Look at the timing of it when you people spend the most money. Okay, look at the timing of it that the Lord has these things happening, man. Okay, you got a lot of people saying that they can't afford Christmas this year. They can't afford, all right, Thanksgiving this year. It may just be the worst, all right, holiday season you people had thus far. It's lucky, bro. Yeah, 5 is the water, bro. But yeah, let's play this. Um,
Well, I've been warning you about this for quite some time, but now we have actual results and data. We are now hearing that October of 2025 was the worst month for layoffs in more than 20 years. That is extremely concerning because experts believe this is only the beginning. Things are going to get worse because of everything that's happening right now. Look at this. Says job cuts in October hit highest level for the month in 22 years, according to Challenger. I want to play a clip for you, and then we'll discuss this. Listen to this.
Announced corporate job cuts, Andrew, in the U.S. surging past 1 million so far this year, with 153,000 new layoffs announced just in October, according to Challenger. That is the worst October since 2003. Here are the numbers. October up 153. That compares with September. That's 100,000 more than September and 100,000 more than this time last year in October 2024. Andy Challenger commenting, some industries are correcting after the hiring boom of the pandemic, but this comes as AI adoption, softening consumer and corporate spending, and rising costs drive belt tightening and hiring freezes. Announced layoffs don't always lead to actual cuts and could take place from attrition. But the report puts in perspective what we've been reporting here day after day, week after week. Series of marquee announcements unveiled in recent weeks across U.S. industries, including UPS, Amazon, Target, among others, Paramount, Rivian, all these companies there. Government has been responsible year to date for 308,000. But look at that. Tech, 140. 41. And that could be where you see a lot of the AI, maybe some in warehousing, but a big chunk of that's going to be UPS, as well as potentially some hit from reduced flows of trade. Retail's up there, as is services at 64,000. You take out the Doge cuts, the number's a bit better at 800,000, but still well above last year. Challengers doesn't see much in the way of hiring, saying announced plans are 35% below last year, and they're skeptical about the number of new hires for the holiday season.
One of the things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to these numbers, we continue to see layoffs, but when a company wants to go and hire thousands of people, you don't see that hit the news. And I understand why. It's just not, well, for one, it's not extremely exciting, and it's not newsworthy. But then they go and lay off temporary employees or seasonal employees. We're going to see this come January. In January, we're going to see layoffs really increase. Some because it's seasonal hiring, but experts believe more so will be because we are seeing a lot of these companies adapt and they're going to change. They're going to start to use AI in order to improve their systems. That's what we're going to see. But what's happening right now is interesting because we are going to see a complete meltdown. And I'm saying this because something was just announced yesterday. We got an update for it today, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. But it kicks in tomorrow. And when this kicks in, this is actually going to disrupt the entire economy. Look at this. It says the United States is to cut 10% of flights on a shutdown and spare routes abroad. Now, what does this mean? Well, according to Sean Duffy, he's the transportation secretary. He said yesterday that in 40 major U.S. airports, they're going to reduce their flying capacity by 10%. That right there could alleviate some of the pain because of the shortage of air traffic controllers.
They're stopping people from moving around. All right. And what is this time when people move around the most? Okay. November and December. All right. Thanksgiving and Christmas. Okay. So now due to TSA, all right, staffing shortages. Okay. Well, they don't have the capacity. All right. And they're reducing you people's movement. All right. They're putting the brakes on everything. You see, they're putting the brakes on everything, man. All right. They're bringing this American economy to a screeching halt intentionally. Okay.
But he says this is not going to resolve itself until the federal government is reopened. But what are those 40 airports? We didn't know that. We know that today. Look at this. It says the flights impacted by reductions are scheduled during 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. It says international flights are exempt from the cuts, according to ABC News. It says a final list of airports in the FAA order will with details is still in the works and is expected to be issued today. Newark Liberty, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International, Honolulu International, Houston Hobby, Washington Dulles International, George International, Ontario International, Chicago O'Hare, Portland, Philadelphia, Phoenix Sky Harbor, San Diego International, Louisville International, SeaTac. You got San Francisco International, Salt Lake City International, Teterboro, and Tampa International. Now, why am I showing you this? Why am I explaining this? Because how does this have anything to do with layoffs? Well, I have a friend that he sells his.
Now I want to segue to another video. All right, because this is what all these people are getting. You know, this is what everyone is seeing because they held off the jobs report. You know, they didn't release them October. You know, the 3rd of September. You know, it's supposed to be released October the 3rd. Okay, so They had to release him, and now you have all these people, saying, the same thing dealing with job report. Okay, so let's go here. It's another report because every day that this place is shut down is causing a ripple effect. Every day that the government is shut down is causing a major ripple effect throughout the whole economy, and it's intentional. Okay, it's going to go beyond just affecting stamps. All right, food stamps and hood healthcare. It's going to keep rippling throughout the whole economy. Okay, that's just the first wave of the ripple effect. All right, so let's go here.
The United States is in uncharted territory at this point. The government shutdown has now stretched into its 37th day, which means that this is the longest shutdown in American history. It began as a political standoff in Washington, but since then it has evolved, it has transformed into a nationwide economic and political crisis. Because let's not pretend that a government shutting down for longer than a month is a normal thing. Nowhere in the world is this a normal thing. Earlier, I posted this on my Telegram. The shutdown is costing the US economy an estimated $15 billion every single week. This has become a very challenging situation for millions of Americans, and I would like to spend some time discussing it today. Unlike previous shutdowns, this one shows no sign of ending soon or easily reversing its damage. In past shutdowns, the economic pain was very real, but at the same time, it was short-lived. Federal workers eventually received back pay. They knew that they would. There were no questions about it. Government contracts resumed and growth rebounded. But this time around, the recovery may not be so simple. The US economy is far more fragile than it was 7 years ago. Inflation remains a top concern for American households, and job growth has slowed. In addition to all of those things, confidence in Washington's ability to manage even basic governance is weakening. And beyond the 650,000 temporarily laid off federal workers, millions of Americans are beginning to feel the ripple effects in their daily lives too. There's a very interesting article recently released by Bloomberg, and according to the article, economists are
650,000 government workers. Okay, that's insane. All right, and these things are happening unexpectedly. All right before the time. Okay, people have scheduled, time off, a little money saved. Nah, man. And then what's happening? People are depleting their savings. See, this is an economic war of attrition. Okay, so you have a month. That's a whole bill cycle. You know, because those bills are still having to be paid. Okay, those mortgages still have to be paid. Those certain expenses, and you see. So this is a whole bill cycle, man. And if they do this another bill cycle for another month,
warning that what used to be a temporary disruption could now turn into a sustained economic drag. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that if the shutdown continues through Thanksgiving, up to $14 billion in economic output will be permanently lost, meaning they will be gone forever. Weekly losses ranging between $10 billion and $30 billion are already being recorded across industries. According to Bloomberg, the Trump administration has suggested that not all furloughed workers will be retroactively paid. Meanwhile, the official unemployment rate will likely soon rise to 4.7%, up from 4.3%, because tens of thousands of government workers are counted as temporarily jobless. What's important to
and then even them unemployment numbers are BS. All right, all these people losing their jobs. All right, you mean tell me the unemployment rate only moved, 0.4%? Okay, those numbers are skewed. And then he's saying that he's not going to retroactive pay, the people that have been furloughed. So those people will just lose a whole month. All right, really now a month and a week worth of pay. So they're expected to come back to work, okay, and not be paid from the time that they was off. Well, they're going to be behind. They're still going to be behind. Okay, and this is the squeeze. Okay, and then there's and I say they do another month because people are already living check to check plus debt. People are living check to check plus debt. So uh another month, okay, is just gonna be devastating, man. So this is week 1 of month 2 of the shutdown. Today is the 7th, so this is week, all right, 1 of the second month. Okay, and the way that this thing is going, because he wants failure and collapse, man. All right, and I he could reverse it today, tomorrow. But there's damage that's done that can't be undone in the day. Okay, and then on the flip side, man, understanding what we know, that this devil wants a new system. Okay, I don't see the devil letting off this no time soon. Okay, but we'll see. You know.
Understand is that the federal shutdown's damage goes well beyond Washington. It doesn't stop there. Private contractors that rely on federal funding are now facing layoffs and halted projects. An estimated $24 billion in federal spending on goods and services has been frozen. Companies that build roads, that manage, let's say, defense contracts, or that provide cleaning services to government buildings are reportedly struggling to make payroll this month, which of course raises the risk that these contractors have to lay off their own workers too. There's more bad news. Small businesses are another casualty. With the U.S. Small Business Administration unable to issue new loans, more than
hungry root makes sticking to my anti-inflammatory diet so easy. I just started an anti-inflammatory diet, and at first I was nervous I wouldn't have a ton.
4,800 small firms are missing out on nearly $2.5 billion in financing. And these are, of course, small businesses that fuel local economies, such as restaurants, manufacturers, and service providers. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce says the situation is, quote, beginning to pile up, and warns that businesses need government to function. Of course they would, we all do. Even the nation's transportation system isn't immune to this. Airports are reporting delays due to overworked and unpaid air traffic controllers. How scary is that? Some of the country's busiest travel hubs are now struggling to keep operations smooth as morale plummets among essential employees who are working effectively without pay for over a month. And I think you would agree with me that air traffic controllers should not be overworked, and they should not be working without pay, because this is absolutely terrifying. And of course, I can't help but mention that the most painful impact is on families who rely on federal assistance. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, which feeds 42 million Americans, is now running low on funds. The administration has promised partial payments for November, but of course those could take weeks to arrive. Food banks across the country are reportedly preparing for a surge in demand. For example, Bloomberg here says the North Texas Food Bank says it has enough supplies for the rest of the year, barely. If SNAP benefits don't arrive in time, the holidays, of course Thanksgiving is just a couple of weeks away, those might be difficult for many low-income households, and it is extremely unfortunate. One of the programs that I personally think we need to be thinking about is Head Start. As you may know, Head Start provides early education and child care for low-income families. It has actually lost funding completely. Over 8,000 children have already lost access to their centers. For working parents from these low-income communities, from these low-income households. That means that they can't just go to work, they can't attend school, and needless to say, they can't afford private childcare. So clearly, this is extremely stressful and challenging for them. We don't really hear much about these issues at all in the mainstream media, and it is definitely something that we need to be discussing, especially as the government spends millions of dollars on conducting nuclear tests. For example, there was a nuclear ICBM test on November the 5th. And of course, another thing is we're flexing our muscles off the shores of Venezuela. We're spending millions of dollars sending our carriers there and positioning our troops along the coastline of Venezuela. And we're positioning ourselves extremely offensively. This is not defense, this is offense. Yet millions of Americans are skipping meals here in the United States, and their voices are not being heard. Nobody is speaking up for them. So there's something very wrong with this. Needless to say, the damage will escalate further if this continues. So far, neither side in Washington seems willing to compromise. As the shutdown is moving into its 6th week, it's no longer just a political story, it's an economic emergency, one that grows more painful with every passing day. Share your thoughts.
Yeah, man. So, all right, nothing but bad news. Okay, with no hope in sight. All right. So let's go here. I'm gonna get this now. The brother did this video, and then we're gonna get the economic war of attrition. All right, because look how people are acting. See, this is what they want. All right, and let me get this precept from the young brother precept. Nah, uh, 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 it's the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 7. There's a book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 7 said, "Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day." All right, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security, all right, thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance, man. Okay, and this is to you tribes. Okay, because the warning has been going out to you tribes, and that was from brother Anaj GMS All In 144. Okay, well, this is a warning to you tribes. Okay, because we all, yeah, the scripture say we use this world but not abuse it. Matter of fact, a brother can post that too. You know, I think that 1 Corinthians 7:31. We use this world and not abuse it because we understand this is temporal. Okay, and you people that lean on this system and this is your end all be all, you're going to be highly disappointed. Okay, you reject the Lord every day. Okay, because every day that you don't, as an Israelite, you don't come to the truth, that's the day that you rejected the Lord. All right, because the word is out. You know, the fact that people like Drewski and can make mockery lets us know, okay, the word is out there. Okay, so the Lord allowed these niggas with these big followings to make mockery or certain things to happen. So hey, the word out. Okay, so you Israelites that's continue to trust in this man and his system, you're going to be highly disappointed, and you're going to be destroyed. Okay, in this false sense of security. Okay, as you thought this job would always be there. I got a government job. I got a government job. I got a good job. Like I say, remember niggas used to say that with their chest. Okay, the nigga woman, because the nigga woman, she's always the supervisor. She's the supervisor, in these government jobs. Okay, with the Kamala Harris, suit. Okay, all right. You see, everybody was secure. You see, they've been saving all year for, the Thanksgiving trip and this, and I already had the things lined up. Nah, man, the Lord the Lord is breaking this shit up. Okay, and ultimately it's going to end in a great destruction, man. Okay, it's going to be a time of torment and tribulation and suffering. Then it's going to be a complete destruction, man. Okay, 1 Corinthians 7:31, and it says, "And they that use this world is not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away." This shit finna pass away, and the Lord is erasing Esau's kingdom, man. This is what we're seeing. Okay, and if your trust and your hope is in this place, up and functioning, all right, you're finna be disappointed, you're finna suffer, and then you're gonna be destroyed. Okay? Because the only thing that's left now is judgment. All right? And the Lord is finna bear down on you people, man. All right? So let's play this. And this is from the beloved elder brother Abaya out of GMS Mississippi camp down here. So yeah, so this is this furloughed mom, all right, day 35 government shutdown. All right, finish. And this is what the war of attrition look like. This is what they want. Okay. This is what these devils want everybody to be in this situation and worse. Okay. Because this day 35. Imagine hey, what's she gonna be like day 50? All right. Day 75. Okay.
Mom, day 35. Government shutdown. Fair use.
On day 35 of this government shutdown, it is 6:47 on a Tuesday morning. I woke up because I cannot sleep, and I'm at the point now where I am literally physically making myself sick. I've lost 20 pounds since the shutdown, a month has started, and I'm tired. And
She lost 20 pounds, stressed out. Okay. Stressed out, man. Economic war of attrition. This is what it looks like. Okay. In the ancient world, they would, the enemies, okay, the enemy's army would, okay, compass about the city gates so nothing would come in and out. And guess what? You had to survive on your reserves. Okay, but then you had to go through the when you understand it, okay, nothing, but you understand nothing is coming in and coming out. So every time you eat, you're knowing that this is closer to the end because the reserves ain't forever. Okay, so this is the same psychological, okay, warfare that will happen in the ancient world with an ancient siege. Okay, so these devils, they're stopping supplies, they're stopping resources from coming in. Okay, and you got to deal with the psychological, okay, aspect of, this bank account is dwindling, but these bills are still coming. Okay, everything is already high, so she's already lost 20 pounds in 1 month. Okay.
I know we're tired. I keep looking at the news and I see nothing about us furloughed federal employees. I see nothing. I see no uproar. I see no help.
And this is the point for the squeeze. Okay, if you know anything about a snake squeezes harder and harder and harder to break the will of its prey so it can eventually eat its prey. All right. Now, what you're looking at is from the concept of order out of chaos, right? And according to ChatGPT, the phrase order out of chaos refers to the ideal that disorder, disruption, or confusion can lead to a new, higher form of organization or understanding. Now, this higher form of organization is referring to what? The New World Order. So let's jump down. Conspiratorial interpretation. In this view, order out of chaos is seen as a motto or strategy used by a hidden global elite, these 13 Edomite families that control this system, or powerful organizations that allegedly want to create or exploit crises such as wars, economic collapses, pandemics, social unrest, and etc. Then impose new systems of control, a digital system which requires what? A microchip, such as centralized governments, surveillance states, or digital currencies under the guise of restoring order. In summary, in the context of the NWO, order out of chaos represents the belief that elites use crisis to consolidate power and reshape the world system. And that's the point. So, going back to the first video,
No signs of help coming. We are fully employed people who are not getting a paycheck. Some of us are going in. Some of us are having to go in and work with an IOU, but these bills aren't IOU. The food's not IOU. The kids' stomachs are IOU. Nothing is IOU. And there's no end in sight with talk that it's going to go through the holidays. How are we supposed to survive? We don't get benefits.
so the elite want the people to break. So then they can present what? The solution, which is Revelation 13 and 16.
You don't think that's what people are doing, y'all, but that only lasts so long. And this economy, that only lasts so long. Why are we the villains in this story?
And this is what they want, right?
Where's the uproar about what's happening to us, y'all? Where's the uproar? This is why I won't sit here and be quiet. We're on day 35. We're about to officially pass the longest shutdown in history.
I did a video some months back.
Finish. Okay, and this is the effects, okay, of an economic war of attrition. All right, and like the elder brother said, she's at her breaking point, and a lot of people finna come to their breaking point. Okay, Esau's putting a squeeze. This is an economic siege, okay, on the masses. Okay, intentional stoppage of flow of resources. Okay, now when you go here, I looked it up, economic war of attrition in the chat. I said, could a war of attrition be waged on citizens through the economy? All right, in the chat, all right, it says yes, absolutely. It sees that a war of attrition doesn't have to involve bombs or soldiers. It can be waged economically, socially, or psychologically. And we're seeing, all right, psychological warfare. This is psychological. This is the intended result that the elites want. This woman represents the results that the elites want from doing this. Okay. And that's just phase one. It's going to get way worse. Okay. As the scriptures say, perplexity. Okay. This is what they're pushing for, their perplexity, man. It says, and targeting citizens through economy is one of the most common modern forms. Okay. So the citizens are being targeted through economy, where they're constantly jumping in your face like we're trying to fix this, and or Trump just won the trade war. What's all that? Oh, Trump just beat China in the trade war. Nigga was popping bottles doing the Tootsie Roll. See, they don't want to see Trump. See, Trump know what he doing, y'all. Okay. You see? And Trump has put an economic siege on you niggas, man. Okay. At the order of the elites. It says sanctions. All right. It says nations can impose trade embargoes, block access to financial system, or freeze assets. Okay. And these people's assets are being frozen. Their wages. Okay. It said the goal is to degrade the target country's economy so that its citizens experience hardship, inflation, shortages, unemployment, and turn against their own government. You see, this is what they do. See, while America been chilling, popping bottles, kicking it at the Super Bowl, okay, at the club, chilling. See, when we hear about America putting sanctions on this country and that country, this is the reality that they have to face. Okay? See, America has had the ability to, all right, destroy people's economy and bring hardship on the citizens. If a nation didn't do, okay, according to what America want, America had the ability to drastically affect their economy, and people went through hardship because the leadership of their country didn't want to bow and kiss the ring of the beast. Okay, so what we're seeing in America is what America does abroad. Like we've been saying, America is bringing the show home. Now they're performing at home. See, everyone's used, the Americans, you're used to the American terror machine being abroad. Okay, but this is what they do to Iran. This is what they do to Syria. This is what they do, all right, to North Korea. This is what they do, okay, to Lebanon. This is what they do, okay, to Russia. This is what they do to China. Any nation that's, okay, they bring in these sanctions, okay, as a form of an economic siege. Now they're bringing the economic siege to America, okay, and it says, um, this is why the earth hates America. All right, you Americans are being now you're witnessing firsthand why the world hates you. All right, it says currency manipulation or cyber attacks. It says undermining financial stability, sabotaging infrastructure, or flooding markets can wear down a population's morale over time. It says internal war of attrition by governments or elites, austerity or economic pressure, policies that concentrate wealth or cut social safety nets can function as a form of eternal attrition. Okay. It said policies that concentrate wealth, wealth is being, okay, concentrated to what? The super rich, or cut social safety nets, HUD, SNAP, Medicare, child care. You see, the safety net is being cut. It said, as a form of eternal attrition, the population resilience weakens and gradually as living standards fall. Okay. And this is what we're seeing, suppression through economic dependency. All right. The fact that, and if a brother could post, if a brother could post a book of Sirach 21 and 8, Sirach 21 and 8, Bob Shah. All right. It says suppression through economic dependency. You see, it was convenient for, because America has so much wealth because they was able to create money, through this debt system. Okay, so you was able to buy goods with debt, because American money is nothing but debt. You see, and they was able to create money, so they was able to create, this abundance. Okay, through debt, and people got dependent on it. So now that the devil is drawing back, okay, this abundance. You see, what is it creating? It says if dissenters risk losing jobs, housing, or access to basic, okay, services, economic precarity becomes a weapon. Okay, so he has weaponized the convenience and the abundance that he's been affording people all these decades, man. Okay, it said monopolistic control when a few corporations control essential goods, energy, housing, food, which is the government. Okay, they can extract wealth and limit consumer choice, creating long-term economic exhaustion. Over-embedded populations, that's like over-indebted populations are easier to pacify. The constant need to survive leaves little capacity for political or social resistance, man. And they don't want you to resist this new world order. Okay. So when you go here, hybrid and psychological aspects. Economic warfare often aims not just to improvise, but to demoralize the slow grind of financial insecurity, inflation, and hopelessness can be a destructive and physical warfare. All right, can be destructive as physical warfare, only quieter and less visible. The slow grind of financial insecurity, inflation, and hopelessness can be a destructive, all right, can be as destructive as physical warfare, only quieter and less visible, man. Okay? So these people, all right, the elites are waging an economic war of attrition is wearing people down. All right, and we're going to see more, okay, of people losing it, breaking down, hitting their breaking point. Okay, morale low. Okay, to where they're on their knees begging for some type of solution. Okay, so let's go here, and this is why this man has been making people dependent on him for so long. Okay, when you go to let's get this. All right, Donald Trump is he firing all you niggas, man. You know, let's get Ecclesiastes 28 and verse so like Ecclesiastes, the book of Sirach 21 verse 8. This from the brother GMS, pray always, hope for elect. All right, the beloved brother Corner Waff. It said, he that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. Okay, and this is why the devil has allowed you to be so dependent on him. That's why he's been giving so freely. Okay, assistance for this, assistance for that, assistance for this, loans for this, loans for that. Okay, it created this, all right, atmosphere of dependency on him, which gives him all the leverage, man. Okay, when you don't have no other source. See, we have Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, these people have no other source of dependency but the government. Okay, just like the brother I not put Proverbs 25 and 19. Confidence in the unfaithful man in the time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. All right, because she's crying and there's no hope in sight. All right, because you're dependent on the unfaithful man. You're dependent on the devil to do right. Okay, you people finna lose, man. You're dependent on the devil to do right. Okay, you're going to see why the Lord had his men warning about this devil, man. Okay, the so-called white man, you niggas beloved so-called white man. Okay, he's finna show you, all right, that he is the devil, all right, that the Bible speaks of. Esau's finna show you niggas that he him. Okay, when it comes to being the wicked. Okay, and all you niggas crying about your problem, that nigga don't care. Okay, Esau don't care. All right, so let's go from there. Let's get this. You know, it might be here. Yep, let's go get this on Dabu.
This is Dabu7 with just a heads up here for anyone that's going to go out and try to travel in the coming days, potentially into the coming weeks, all the way up to Thanksgiving until they fix this government shutdown. They're already saying chaos is gripping U.S. airports, and we're seeing this all over the place, state to state, long lines, airports saying flights are canceled or delayed left and right. We have hundreds already. And the Trump administration has said they're preparing a slash of 10% on all departures. And this is going to hit the 40 biggest airports in the country. This all starts tomorrow. So a ton of people that are not paying attention are going to get caught in this. They're going to be waiting in hours-long lines at the airport, and some have just been canceled altogether. Now, some of the airlines have already started warning customers that their plans could be impacted big time because of these flight reductions. Some carriers even offering travelers non-refundable tickets, the option to voluntary cancel and they get their money back. So people that had non-refundables could actually get their money back right now if they want to back out. And the air traffic controllers are thin. They've been unpaid since the shutdown began October 1st. Most have been on duty for 6 days a week, mandatory overtime, and the shutdown continues until Tuesday. They're going to miss their second paycheck. Most would have got an email today showing what their next check is going to be. And as I showed on the live stream last night, it's projected to be a fat zero for a ton of these people. So government workers, these people in the control towers, all kinds of people affected by this big time. But this is going to hamper travel plans big time. And I wanted to make sure people are aware of this. Again, if this doesn't get cleared up, it's not looking good for Thanksgiving travel. I'll leave a link. Join me for the live streams going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
You see that? And see, you people, you Americans, you love, your holidays, you love, because see, the holidays give you a sense of normalcy in the chaos. All right, it's the moment where you kind of take a breath. Well, nah, that breath, that little moment of relief is being taken away. Okay, you comfortable Americans, get ready to be uncomfortable, man. And they're stopping, all right, traffic. Just freely moving around. Okay, they're doing this intentionally, man. All right, here it is, and then they working these people 6 days a week, mandatory overtime with nothing. Okay, which then they finna go into the second cycle of missing checks. Hell no, because now you got to pay to work, because you got to have gas, you got to eat. Okay, you're paying to work. The richest government in the world, and its government workers are paying to work. Okay, which in my opinion, nigga, you got one time not to pay me. Like I know situations, but nigga, I know something is better than nothing. Cause I'm here making nothing when I can be making something that's super stupid. Then to be working overtime, to be working overtime for nothing, hell no. But hey, they like it, I love it. So yeah, man, all this traveling, cause it's gonna get worse. Cause if they miss this, cause today, was the day that they cut back 10%. So what are they gonna do next month? All right, for you people beloved Christmas. All right, and that Christmas is extremely wicked. All right, because when you go into Christmas, when they say Merry Christmas, do you know what they're saying? All right, because Christ, all right, goes into the anointed. Mas is death. Okay, so they're saying happy death for the anointed. Okay, you see, you wicked people are anti-Messiah, and see now, Yahweh Bashim outside is responding to this rebellion that's in the earth. And he's put a spirit on this devil to be cruel to you people, man. They're cruel Lord, as the scriptures say. Okay, now, I got this video too I want to get into, because as you as people are going to these food banks, all right, guess who's in these food banks?
Prices now at food banks in Chicago. And the news isn't reporting it. ICE is at food banks in Chicago while hundreds and thousands of Chicagoans are looking for food due to the food stamps program being cut. There are families who can't feed children. There are families who depend on food as part of their daily fucking life. Yet we are being terrorized with people with arms and masks. Two of my closest friends just went to a food bank to get food. And they were terrified when they saw not one, not two, but six fucking helicopters overhead looking for another victim, another person to kidnap off the street. If this is what we've come to, then it's better that we take things into our own hands. This is definitely crossed the line. I have told you guys, I warned you guys to start gathering your food in June to prepare. I warned you guys. And now this is what it's come to. This is what it's come to. We've let this administration go too far. Enough is fucking enough.
All right. And breaking point. So here it is. All right. People are, gathering to these food banks. Okay. They're going to these food banks because, the SNAP benefits, okay, are not coming. And in Chicago, you have ICE at the food banks. Okay. You see, it's nothing but bad news, man. Okay. Nothing but evil. Okay. Nothing but bad times awaits you people. Okay. Sorrows on every side. All right. And then I have this video. I want to get another short. Okay. And she goes on a rant. All right. About billionaires. Okay. I thought this was pretty interesting. So this the history of billionaires.
Until 1916.
This is us.
The first billionaire didn't exist until 1916, which was Rockefeller. Fast forward from 1916 to 1960, there's only 10. Then from 1960, fast forward to 1982, when Forbes was putting out their 400 richest people, there's only 13. In 1982, there's only 13. Now let's see where we sit today. 3,000. So how come for like 100 years, the needle barely moved? In 100 years, you're talking about from 1 to 10 people. And then all of a sudden, it has shot to 3,000 people. Well, IT is the reason, technology. Because now when you are a money grubbing, hoarding billionaire, you're not limited to hoarding money from the people in your immediate vicinity. Now with technology connecting us all over the world, you can grab money from all over the world to stockpile it. Just in the United States, there's nearly 1,000 billionaires now scooping up all the resources from our country and shoving it up into their little lairs. We've had to introduce new words to deal with the amount of wealth that is being amassed by the very few. So now we've come up with centibillionaire, someone who's got $100 billion. The first person was Bill Gates in 1999. Now there's 17 of them. $100 billion. Here's why that matters for all of us. Because in 2004, billionaires only contributed $13 million to politicians. 13 million. That's in 2004. Just 20 years later, that number would rise to $3 billion. So they have bought our government, lock, stock, and barrel. And now they're just making more laws that will allow them to continue this race to become, now that Forbes is tracking it. Well, now we've got a competition. It's not enough to be a millionaire or multimillionaire. And it's not even enough to be a billionaire anymore. Now we need to be centibillionaires. And of course, the next big thing, Musk is trying to make himself a trillionaire. And it's all about, if they can control the government, they can make sure that, where are they going to get the money from? They have to get it from you guys. They have to get it from everybody in the lower class and the middle class. Because the people that are on the same class as them, they know how to play that game and how to keep each other from getting their money. So they've got to fleece the people below. And so they control the government so that they can just continue and continue to build an insane gap of wealth. To me, here's the irony. When you look at communism, isn't it convenient that you end up having one little group that controls all the money and resources and decides what anybody else gets? Then you look at fascism, where you have one dictator or authoritarian controlling everything and telling everyone else what they're going to get. And what do you have with capitalism? Oh, that's right. The exact same thing. First,
and she went in. All right. Now we know, the elites behind the scenes, they've been, trillionaires, for a while. All right. But what we do see is that there's been a major wealth grab. And see, they're intentionally draining, the masses of any type of wealth so they can have all the leverage. as they're getting ready to roll out this new world order. Okay, which this new world order is going to be ran by what? Technocrats or technocracy. Okay, and the earth is being colonized digitally through these corporations. Okay, so this squeeze that we're seeing is intentional. Okay, this ain't just no random thing that this devil got going on. Okay, like two niggas, a Republican and Democrat. These niggas can't decide. No, all right. This is an economic war of attrition, and we're gonna see people continually crash out. Okay, we're gonna see continue people reach their breaking point. All this big stress of bills, and this extra stress of the holidays, and then the children. Okay, so yeah, man, the end of the year this month going into next month, man, we can see a drastic change. Okay, if this shutdown continues, okay, it's gonna be a drastic change from November to December. Because that's going to be the second cycle of bills that people can't pay. And when people tap out, them saving, especially people that's been saving up for years, and they tap out in months, people gonna be on edge, man. Okay. So let's get this. Brother got this. It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. It says, as for us, our eyes, this is the brother Bayan Yashala. It says, as for us, our eyes are yet filled, all right, for a vain help. Okay. And our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us, man. All right. And if your hope is in Esau, Edom, all right, saving you and doing right by you people, okay, you're going to be extremely disappointed. All right. And what we're seeing, okay, is this. Matter of fact, let's get this real quick in the book of Baruch. Okay. And we're going to, this going to come out more and more. The Baruch chapter 4. Expect for this to come out more and more. All right. Because we're seeing it. We're seeing it now. All right. We're living in it. Okay. People are hurt. So let's get this in Baruch 4. All right. Matter of fact, let's read this. Because see, this is our good news, man. Okay, let's start at verse 27. It says, be of a good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High. See, we know who to complain to. We're not in on TikTok or social media in desperation mode, crying and just hoping somebody throw us a life raft. No, we crying to our power to continue to bring this place down. Okay? These people are crying for help. We're crying for the destruction. And like I said, I know after the Day of Atonement, this is when this began. Okay? And like I said, I know brothers and a few of you sisters was praying, okay, for judgment for this place during the time of atonement, man. The Lord hearing them prayers. This is confirmation that them prayers is heard. Okay, because it's been all gas since then. It's been this thing, the Lord shift gears out the Day of Atonement. Okay, and he's only been full steam since then. Okay, he says, oh my children, it says, and cry to the Most High, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. And see, their suffering is a token that the Lord is remembering us. You see, this is a token that our power is remembering us in our captivity by causing our captives to suffer, man. Okay? It said, for is it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. For he that brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Okay, so we're comforted in the midst of this, man. While these people are bugging out, they're breaking. Lost 20 pounds in a month. She can't keep doing that. You see, she can't keep going like that. And there's plenty more. Okay, that's gonna enter that phase. That's gonna stress out on that level, man. Okay, it said, "Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that For he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice, okay, at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy son. So now we're seeing misery upon our captives, man. Okay, and this is beautiful. Okay, that you people suffer, man. All you proud, Edomites. Okay, because you've been enjoying, all right, the fruits, okay, of your forefathers, okay, that enslaved us, man. Okay, we had looked it up the other day, like 4 million slaves in the South, you know, had the asset value in the economy of like, you know, $2 trillion, something like that, man. Crazy. You see, and you Edomites have benefited off that. All right, and you Jakes that refuse, okay, to stop depending on this man, to return back to your power, you're finna be miserable with him. Okay, it says, miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she. Now, this speaking of America, she, that whore, that received thy sons. For she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad at thy fall. So shall she be grieved at her own desolation. For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude. And this is what we're seeing. That rejoicing is being taken away. All right? The rejoicing is decreasing. You see, nothing but uncertainty. Okay, and then uncertainty gonna go into suffering. You see, it says, in her pride shall be turned into mourning. See, the Lord finna break their pride. You see, pride is finna be broken. Okay, the type of suffering that the Lord is getting ready to bring, all right, to Babylon the Great, pride is finna be broken, man. Okay, it says, for fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. This place is going to be turned to a desert. This is the beginning phase of ultimately America, all right, being wiped off the map with nukes, man. Okay, and you people are going to suffer all the way until the nukes hit. You see, thus said the Lord. All right, so yeah, that's the point. I leave it there. All right, when the time of, a judgment, okay, when the time of the Lord is causing the mirth to cease, and it's beautiful, right in the most satanic, all right, pagan time of the year, okay, the Most High is causing, a time of suffering, man. This is when you people are your most joyous, man. And may this be the worst, all right, holiday season that you people have ever experienced in your life. May uncertainty increase. May you continue to lose. Okay. May you not be able to afford any goddamn thing. Okay. Hopefully by Christmas, goddamn, all you people, okay, are losing 20 pounds a month or more. All right, just from stress, man. All right. The Lord finna break up pride. We finna see it. That's why I say, hey, we gotta be in a different spirit, because we finna see different things, man. Okay, we're in a time where we finna see the Lord's anger. We've been talking about it. Okay, now we finna see everything that we've been talking about. Okay, we finna see the Lord's anger. So, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edify once again, and give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect, Shalom.